Hi, I'm Brittany Roger. You're watching The Drawing Zoo, and today we're talking about a totally unappreciated animal, the Madagascar Hissing Cockroach. Today we're focusing on lines. First, we will do a warm-up, then meet the animal, then draw the animal. I will use a pencil and paper, but there are a lot of other materials you can use in this activity. We don't think about it much, but there are so many types of lines. Let's start with something simple and natural. Pressing down with normal pressure, zoop, straight line. I like my sound effects. Then I want to try a lighter line by pressing down lightly. Next, I try a line, starting out pushing down hard, but towards the end of the line, I lift up my pencil for a swishy motion. You can always pause the video to try it more. To challenge myself, I want to make a line as thin as possible. How do I make a line really dark and thick?
Go over and over the same line.
That's right. And I can also hold my pencil on the side for a thicker line in one stroke.
Oh.
Wow. But there's not just straight lines. We can do that same exercise with curly lines too. Thick, thin, medium, swishy, holding your pencil on the side. Take some time to experiment with lines and holding your pencil in a different way. When you were experimenting with lines, did you notice that sometimes lines make shapes?
Yes!
Yes! If the line doesn't connect to itself, it is still just a line. It's only a shape when the line closes.
I see that.
We use thick lines to show weight or shadow. If you think this thick line looks awkward at the top of the circle, that's because it feels heavy and your eyes naturally want it on the bottom. You did a great job in the warm-up. Now it's time to meet the animal. Where do you think these animals belong in the food chain?
That's a tough one.
Not sure.
I'll give you some hints. The Madagascar hissing cockroach cannot bite, cannot sting, cannot fly, cannot pinch. There's some pretty cool stuff they can do. For example, they can stick on anything. Look, they can hiss. Let's see if we can hear them. Nothing yet. I wonder under what circumstances do they do the hissing?
I hope we find out.
If you thought they were at the bottom of the food chain, you were correct. These animals are at the bottom of the food chain. They literally live on the jungle floor. The Madagascar hissing cockroach can only be found on the island of Madagascar. These guys are called decomposers.
Sounds important.
This animal has a very important job.
I knew it.
Is this the part of the banana we like to eat?
No.
Now, where would you put this banana peel when you were done with it?
The trash?
Most people put it in the trash. I like to put it in my compost bin.
Woohoo!
Or I feed it to my roaches.
Whoa.
When decomposers eat dead things, it keeps producers healthy. A producer is an organism that makes its own food from the sun, also known as plants. There are many types of animals that eat plants, and many types of animals that decompose.
So many.
But we'll talk about those in another video. What's so cool about these guys is each one looks a little different. I'll show you in a second. I have like 100 of these, and I can tell them all apart. They're so unique, just like you. Most people find them creepy, but I think they're so cool. Look at those beautiful colors. He's okay. Got him. Oh, he hisses.
That's scary.
He's mad. They hiss to scare away bigger animals who would want to eat them, also known as predators. Can you think of an insect eater that lives on the island of Madagascar? Now let's draw the animal. You'll notice that I always like to start with the biggest part of the animal's body. In this case, it's the outline. I used a line and connected it to itself to make an oval. If it helps, use your finger to trace the outline of the animal. Next, I want to add the head. The head is underneath the body, so I don't actually see much of it. We can see his little head from the side.
So
Aww.
tiny.
So I made a tiny oval. Next, I draw what's called the pronotum, but I just like to call it the helmet. I do a simple, even curved line, but you can do a straight line if it's easier for you. I am using more curved lines to finish the different pieces of their exoskeleton.
The what?
Remember when I accidentally dropped my friend? The reason he didn't get hurt is because he has a protective skeleton on the outside of his body.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. As I finished the exoskeleton, I realized that I made my oval too short, so I am adding little sections of the body to make it look more like the real thing. Next, I add the legs. Pop quiz! How many legs does an insect have?
I don't know.
6 on each side?
No.
3 on each side.
Good job! I like to do the letter L
Or V.
to show that the leg has joints.
Or knees and elbows.
And then I do a little squiggly line for the little feet.
Tiny.
I do straight lines for the feelers. Every insect needs those. Notice that we are starting to add smaller lines, or the details. I am making the legs thicker to show how dark they are. I'm tilting my pencil like I did in the warm-up. And now what I think is the funnest part, adding their little tiny spikes. These details just keep getting smaller and smaller. Last but not least, I add spots and the horns.
Horns?
In this species, the male roaches have little horns on their pronotum. This is a female. Can you see the difference?
That was
Oh
really
my
surprising.
goodness.
And that's how I draw the Madagascar Hissing Cockroach. Let's see how other people did it. This artist added writing. This one has a whole colony. This one is very expressive. Wow! It looks like everybody really understands this animal's role in the ecosystem. Show us your artwork by tagging The Drawing Zoo on Instagram or Facebook. I hope you had an amazing time learning about these animals. For more animal art activities, subscribe to this channel and visit thedrawingzoo.com. Oh, I almost knocked over my roach bin. Oh my gosh. Coffee. No. These animals are at the bottom of the food chain. They belong to... Seriously, Carmelo?